Hey, everybody. I'm back again with my longtime friend now, Dan Kalb. Dan, it's great to have you here.
And good to see you, Zenny.
You too. Thank you. Yeah, and thanks for coming on. Hey, sure. Shed some light on this Public Ethics Commission finally having your name in it. What's going on?
Yeah, I think I can't tell you a whole lot because I don't know a whole lot about it, to tell you the truth. There were, I think, a half dozen council members listed in some filing or investigation underway that apparently has to do with alleged money laundering by some contributor or contributors. I just heard about this a few weeks ago. I know nothing more than what was out there in the newspaper or newsletter or whatever. So I'll tell you right off, if anybody thinks that some kind of scheme to give contributions, if indeed that happened, is going to have an influence on me, they will fail. In fact, they already have. The reality is that there was some mention of there is a lawsuit underway with these contributors, the California Waste Solutions and the city of Oakland, for the past couple of years. And I have repeatedly been on the side of the city attorney in opposition to the proposals by California Waste Solutions. So if they thought somehow their indirect donations, if indeed those happen, were going to influence me, they fail. And that's pure and simple. And people who know me and who know me well know that that kind of stuff is not going to work with me.
I have never heard you associated with this sort of thing before.
No, of course not. It's ridiculous. I mean, people know my background. They know I used to work for California Common Cause. I'm a strong advocate of campaign reform and public financing. I have a long history of clean money elections. And people also know that I was the author of the 2014 ballot measure, charter measure, to strengthen and give more resources and independence and authority to our Public Ethics Commission here in Oakland. And the subsequent ordinance that came on after that, I also authored that as well. So, that's fine. People want to make hay out of something or exaggerate things. They can do whatever they want. I can't stop other people from negative campaigning if that's what they want to do. I'm working hard both in my job as a city council member and to campaign for re-election, which is what I'm in the process of doing as well. That's really 2 full-time jobs. And so I'm working hard, getting a lot done, and we have a lot more to do. So, there's not much I could say about that investigation. I'm sure it's underway, and if something comes of it, great. I mean, if they find some wrongdoing, then whoever did the wrongdoing should be held accountable. Absolutely.
Here's what was sent to me. Not the press release, but this is actually the actual document. And I'll read through. This is the Public Ethics Commission claims. And I'll, in the interest of time and out of respect, it's 18 pages. I'll just scroll down.
Sure.
I'm not sure if you're looking here, but just since
whatever the allegation is, I'm absolutely thrilled that the Public Ethics Commission is doing its job and has the resources to do its job to find out what the facts are and to hold people accountable if anybody did anything wrong. And that absolutely is their job, and I support their effort 100%.
I think it's important to make clear something that hasn't been made clear. You're not the defendant. The defendant is Phuc Hung Tran. It says right there in black and white.
Yeah, I guess it's some of the contributors and the DeWong family, I guess, who are the alleged money launderers. I don't know the details of the investigation, and whatever happens, happens. If there is a need for, I guess that a few of these contributors gave a little bit of money to my old committees from several years ago, nothing recent. And if the city feels that they were wrong, they were illegal contributions, then I, of course, will do whatever I'm required to do, whatever I should do to kind of dispose of that and get the money to the city or to whoever. But until that investigation is over, there's nothing for me to do. I didn't do anything wrong, and so let's just move on and make sure they have a full investigation. We should not impede their investigation. We should not play politics with their investigation.
I agree. This is what was written. It says in 2019, the City of Oakland's Public Ethics Commission launched an investigation of possible violations of the Oakland Campaign Reform Act. And also I want to make clear, Dan, you've been instrumental in helping build the Ethics Commission. So it's not like you're on the outside of it, right?
Yeah, no, it's been one of my top priorities in my first term here. And we got a ballot measure through a stakeholder process. It got on the ballot. It passed with about 3/4 of the vote. Very proud of that. And then we did a follow-up ordinance to give them even more authority, which they have now. And I'm glad they're exercising that authority. And it's very important to keep arm's length. That city council members, all elected officials, should keep at arm's length of the Public Ethics Commission. So I'm not going to be getting in their way. I'm happy to provide any information if they have any follow-up information they want from me, and let it take its course, and then we'll see what happens. And if some contributor broke the law, then they should be held accountable.
And it says to further that investigation, the PEC used its pre-litigation and investigatory powers granted by Oakland Municipal Code to issue investigative subpoenas regarding several individuals, including respondent Phuc Hong Tran. And then it says the investigation concerns suspected campaign money laundering activity by agents of a major city contractor, California Waste Solutions, as you said, owned and managed by members of the Duong family, including David Duong and Andy Duong and their associates. The laundering scheme spans several election cycles and involves the use of multiple straw donors. These are alleged, making contributions to several different candidate-controlled committees. The straw donors made their donations at the behest of the scheme's authors and are reported as the true donors on public campaign finance filings, but were surreptitiously reimbursed for their contributions. These are also alleged. The authors of this scheme engaged in this activity in a deliberate attempt to circumvent various restrictions on the true source and amount of campaign donations. Petitioner has issued subpoenas in this matter to identify all the authors and participants in this scheme, as well as the extent of the laundering activity. And then it goes on and it gets down to the parties that are involved. And then it mentions that Phuc Tran is insurance agent based in Chinatown, also was the president of the Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce, and that Jennifer Tran, daughter, is a currently executive director. Then it goes down to where I think where it mentions you is here, and other, not just you, but it doesn't mention you as being involved, but as being apparently the unknowing recipient, but allegedly. But it says respondent. This is Mr. Tran was the president of the Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce at least as of 2016, mentions his daughter, Jennifer Tran, who is the current executive director. And then it also reads that Tran was a campaign consultant to Xing Tao for Oakland City Council, a committee with a suspect cluster in this case. What suspect cluster means, I do not know. And so it says, and then it goes on to say that Tran contributed $5,000 to the McElhaney Legal Defense Committee. And that was made on the same day. And then it goes down on to say that, note that Phuc Hong Tran's contributions to the Able Guillen in 2018, Dow mentions Councilmember Kalb, and then the former Councilmember Brooks committees are also part of suspect clusters at issue in this case. And I know the term suspect clusters, there needs to be a definition in this. It's not there. So I don't know what suspect clusters are.
I don't know. I don't know the details about what is in there. I know there's some allegation that I got a few contributions back in 2016 and prior to that in 2013, I guess. And again, if those are proven true, then those who did anything wrong should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. We should not, let this go by. I'm glad there's an investigation going on, and let's see what happens. And if the City Ethics Commission or anybody else or the court says that once this is all done, that all those who receive the contributions need to kind of give them up to the city or whomever, then by all means we'll do that. Let this investigation play its term out. Let them have a full investigation. Elected officials should not be getting in the way of that in any way whatsoever. And then let it get done as soon as possible, and let's see what the result is.
And so they say something about the Phuc lunch and why. I don't know why they actually wrote this the way that they did. I don't think it's funny, but whoever wrote it intended it to be that, and I think it's a very unprofessional act. I'll just say that right now, and it colors this entire effort as far as I'm concerned when you write something like that. Do you know anything about this lunch?
I'm not sure what you talked. I did have a lunch with a handful of people from the Chinese American and Vietnamese American business community, a small lunch. It was really like 10 people maybe. Back must have been 4 years ago or thereabouts.
Yeah, they said according to your committee records, all the potentially laundered checks potentially it received were in a single bundle.
Well, there wasn't any bundles. I mean, people paid separately, and I didn't receive any. My fundraiser got them, but yeah, I don't know the details. All we know is that we got checks that seemed to be all up in the up, and just like any other contribution. And again, if a small number of them were inappropriate, then I want to find that out and make sure that people who did anything illegal, if there were anybody, are held accountable. Absolutely.
I have a powerful concern here, and I'm just going to be very blunt. I don't like that this came up in the middle of the election. And I believe that there should be my powerful demand to the city council is to change this to have something where there's no appearance of using government and against a person who is running for re-election.
Right.
You could have held this off until after the election.
Yeah, it's not for me to judge when the Ethics Commission decides to release things or make things public, or what the schedule is of their public meetings or what have you. I will say that when we wrote the ballot measure based on input from a lot of stakeholders, including good government advocates, we said that any preliminary investigation, the first phase of it, would be kept confidential for the very reason you mentioned, or that's one of the reasons. However, once there is some level of evidence, what we might have an analogy to probable cause, then they get to the next phases, and that at that point, that could become public if the Ethics Commission wants to do that at one of their meetings. And that's apparently what happened here. Again, I don't have any details. The city attorney's involved. I want them to carry through their investigation as thorough as possible. But we have to, I have to focus on, my qualifications, my experience as a elected official and a candidate. And really, this should be about not some, investigation that really is not alleging I did anything wrong. Of course, it's an that we really should be talking about. Who has the experience necessary to be an effective council member. I have, not only do I have an obvious amount of public policy making experience,